Hi, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Yoga Maya. This is a 15-minute foot and lower leg reset for any time you just feel a little stiff in your feet or lower legs, maybe your calves, and you'd like a little release. So we're going to start with a rolled blanket, rolled something like this, and then we're going to place it to the backs of our knees. So come over to your hands and knees and grab your blanket and tug it up right up into the backs of your knees and then sit back into it. This could be quite intense. So if you realize that you actually need to put a block between your feet for a little extra support, no problem. And then when you're ready, just find a second spot and move the blanket a little lower on your legs. This may feel a little different, a little better, or a little worse than the first one. Everybody's a little different every day. I like to take a little wiggle to massage those tissues a little more thoroughly with the blanket. When you're ready, you can set your blanket to the side and come over into a child's pose. Come forward to your hands and knees and tuck your toes under. And then sit back towards a child's pose again, stretching back through your heels and moving your knees as close towards your toes as you can. And then come forward to your hands and knees and grab a regularly folded blanket and slip it underneath the tops of your feet, but just up, like underneath your toes only, so that way your ankle can be on the floor. And one more time, sit back on your heels and bring your head towards the floor, opening the fronts of your ankles as well. Press your blanket to the side and make your way back to downward facing dog. Take your right foot, hook your big toe and second toe around your left heel and push down towards the floor. And then lift your right leg up high and step your right foot forward between your hands. Take your hands up onto blocks on their highest height and straighten out through your right knee all the way. We're going to floss our sciatic nerve. So I'm going to move my blocks really forward in front of my foot so you can see my foot. You don't have to do that, but you can if you want to make it spicier. Lift your right toes up and reach them down towards the floor. So you're going to pull your toes as close to your shin as possible, flexing through your ankle, and then set your toes back down to the floor. If you'd like to add the back foot in, you could reach your left heel down as you lift your right toes up and reach your left heel up as you bring your right toes down. Do a few more rocks here. And then bend your right knee, pressing your toes down. Lower the top of your left foot down onto the floor and settle your hips forward. Walk your blocks back so that way they're in line with your foot and press down into the top of your left foot. Curl your tailbone under and lift your left knee up off the floor, keeping the top of your left foot down, and then drop your chin down to your chest. Try to really round your lower back, almost like you were turning yourself into a shrimp, or as if I said bad dog, and you had to curl your tail under and say, Straighten that left knee a little more. Lower your left knee down to the floor and set your blocks to the side. Step back to downward facing dog. Take your left foot and hook your big toe and second toe around your right heel and pull down to draw your right heel down towards the floor, stretching through your right calf. Lift your left leg up and back and step your left foot all the way through between your hands. Climb your hands up onto blocks on their highest setting and straighten out through your left leg. Crawl your blocks forward and point and flex through your left ankle. So this is flossing the sciatic nerve. If you did it on the other side, it might be nice to lift your right heel as you lower your left toes and lower your right heel as you flex through your left toes. Take a few more rounds here. And when you're ready, press your toes down, bend your left knee and lower your right knee down to the floor. Untuck your toes and place the top of your foot down. Walk your blocks back around your foot and press the top of your right foot pretty strongly down into the mat. Settle your hips forward and try to curl your tailbone up underneath you and then lift your right knee up off the floor. Imagine that bad dog or shrimpy feeling in the spine. We're looking for spinal flexion. Round your lower back. Draw your tailbone in and drop your chin down to your chest so we get a little femoral nerve tension. Keep lifting your right knee up as you curl your tailbone under. Good. Lower your right knee down. Set your blocks to the side and step back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet to the outside of your hands, coming into a nice wide squat. Take a blanket and place it underneath your heels. If this amount of support isn't enough, try rolling the blanket or folding it over again. Take a little wiggle. Beautiful. Straighten out through your legs and set your blanket out of the way. And then take a block on the low height underneath your right foot. Stand on that block as if you were standing on the floor, so your feet are like trying to do the same thing, but they're uneven on height. Take your hands onto the high block in front of you and bend and straighten your right knee. This is releasing the tissues all through your back line here. Take the hand block about 6 to 12 inches to the left and then keep going, releasing your tissues in your lateral line. Bring your block back to center and then lift your left foot up to hover next to your right. Imagine you could suck your leg up into your hip like there's a vacuum inside. Draw your left foot forward in front or in line with your right foot. Then bend both knees and keep your feet even and look forward. Try to stand up into tree pose, standing on your block. Use your left hand to help you. Push your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot. Turn your left knee forward. Without looking down, see if you can find the floor with your left foot, and then lower your foot down and push the block away with your right foot. Whew. Let's do the second side. So place a block on the low height underneath your left foot. Right foot will be on the floor next to it. Bend and straighten your left knee several times. Take your hand block over to the right and keep going to release your lateral line in your leg and lower back and outer hip. Bring the block back to center. Push down through your left foot and straighten your left knee. Draw your right leg up in line with your left foot so that way your right foot's hovering next to your left. And draw your right foot forward so that way it's in line with your left foot. It's almost as if there's a vacuum sucking your right hip up. Bend both knees, keeping your feet as even as possible, and look forward. Stand up all the way onto your left foot, and then use your right hand on your right ankle to help you place your foot into tree pose. Whoop. Once you catch your balance, breathe a few times. Turn your right knee forward and step your right foot off to the right. Try not to look down as you step down to the floor, and then use your left foot to push the block out of your way. Stand tall with your feet in a comfortable position and pointing forward on the floor, and shift your weight front to back and just feel the way it feels. So shift the weight over your feet here. And then settle somewhere that feels like the middle. Reach down through your legs and stand tall, feeling your feet on the floor. Take your hands to your hips and lift your heels up off the floor, looking up and out, and then slowly lower your heels down to the floor. Do that again. Lift through your heels, pressing down through the big toe knuckles, and slowly lower down. Press down through the big toe knuckle side of your foot and lift your heels up nice and high. Maintain your heels high and reach your arms up. Keep thinking of going up as you start to bend your knees. And as slowly as you can, but as quickly as you need to, come to sit on your heels. Once you get down, if you need to, you can use your blocks for balance by your hips, or you can practice balancing here without them. Lower your knees down without changing your toes at all and sit up on your heels. For some people, this is a quite intense big toe stretch. So if you feel that, that's normal. You can always make it less intense by bringing your fingers to the floor. Good. When you're ready, lift your knees up again. And then without falling on your butt, maybe you can put your heels down. Once your heels are down, bring your feet all the way together and then try to lift your seat up. Okay, so the idea here is that we're gonna have the heels reaching for the floor and your inner feet touching. Crawl your hands forward, try to drop your head down as low as your seat and stretch your heels back and down towards the floor. Wrap your big toe knuckles down into the floor and reach your heels back as you release your head and neck even more. Malasana. Good. Set your knees down and together and take your feet wider than your hips. Sit on a block or a folded blanket between your feet as needed, or if you're feeling good, you can sit on the floor. Have a bolster or 2 or 3 folded blankets handy for just a moment. And once you get in, I like to just take my fingers between my big toes and second toes and spread my toes out and then give myself a little foot massage. If you're up on a block, you may need to do 1 foot at a time. Rubbing through the arches of your feet here might feel super nice. Okay, place your blanket so that way the back edge of it is going to catch you right at your lowest ribs, okay? If you need to adjust it, it's very easy to move it here. And then take your hands back, pick yourself up and tuck your tail under. Land down to whatever you're resting on. And if you realize you don't need that thing anymore, you can always take it out. And slowly lower yourself the rest of the way down onto your support, whether it's blankets or bolster. Try to keep your knees no wider than hip distance apart and heavy. If this is too low for you, come up, build your support up higher so that way you can rest. If when you lean back, you realize that you'd like to have a little pillow for your head, slip a blanket underneath the back of your head so you can rest comfortably. Let your palms come open or hold opposite elbows overhead. You can stay here as long as you like, but when you're ready to come out, take your hands to your feet, push down into your elbows and lift your chest, then walk your hands backwards to continue lifting your chest all the way up to sit. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.